Welcome back. We're continuing the news. A wave of the Saharan dust is currently moving across Jamaica, but with just days to go until the start of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, some scientists say this could be a good thing. Amoy Harriet explains why.
For months now, the warnings have been clear. Active hurricane season ahead. In fact, meteorologists are keeping a keen eye on this area in the Pacific off the coast of Mexico, where Tropical Storm Alvin appears to be developing. As it relates to activities in the Atlantic, the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, CIMH, is predicting 19 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. Now, this is above the annual average of 14 named storms, with about 7 becoming hurricanes and 3 major hurricanes. Cedric Van Meerbeek is a climatologist at CIMH.
We do have a little bit better predictability this time around than in some other years. And we expect that the range of the number of storms and hurricanes will likely be at least the average, but could be as high as about 18, 19 storms, about 10 hurricanes, and up to about 4 or 5 major hurricanes in the worst case.
But these activities can be altered by elements such as the Saharan dust. Currently, there's a wave of dust moving across the central Caribbean, triggering alerts, including in Jamaica. But according to experts, this might be a good thing.
Because every time there's a lot of Sahara dust in the air, the atmosphere is really not conducive to the development of tropical cyclones. And so, because we cannot forecast dust events more than 1 or 2 weeks in advance, we need to bear in mind that there's an alternative scenario. That scenario, let's call it scenario B, implies that you have very frequent dust episodes. If that is the case, whenever there's a dust episode, it's going to stifle the hurricane activity, and it's also going to stifle the activity of extreme rainfall.
But even as citizens prepare for what's to come, the impact of the 2024 hurricane season is still being felt. Like Jamaica, other countries in the Caribbean are bracing nervously for what lies ahead in the 2025 hurricane season. I'm currently walking along the Grand Anse Main Road in the south of Grenada. As you can see around me, the buildings are standing tall and they're in fairly good condition. A vast contrast to what now exists in the north of the country and Grenada's sister islands, where thousands of buildings suffered extensive damage following Hurricane Beryl and still to this day haven't fully recovered. So the big question now is the Caribbean ready for yet another active season?
From the perspective of our National Disaster Management Agency, I would say fairly well prepared. We have benefited from some significant grant aid and support from our partners internationally and regionally. We've already done our hurricane shelter assessment, which is something that we do annually. We do have a challenge both in terms of manpower to repair homes, skilled workers, etc., as well as material procurement. So that still is a big vulnerability, and we obviously have to keep our fingers crossed that the wet season isn't too wet.
As for Jamaica, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is expected to address the National Disaster Council next week, where he will provide details on the country's readiness. Amoy Harriet, TVJ News.